that's what the interface looks like. You click on a program, you get comments from your friends, you get a synopsis, you get related programs down the left-hand side, and then you click on it and you get to see whatever it is, the next episode of Red Dwarf in this case. So I'm moving along because I'm actually running out of time. So we'll go into something a bit more serious, which is working from home. I don't know if you're familiar with a concept called home shoring. Basically, it's online consulting. There's things like freelancer.com, 99designs.com. These are things where you can bid online for work that is digital. So it might be mechanical design. If you're really good with AutoCAD, you might get a job to design some widget in 3D. Graphic design, ghost writing, proofreading, translation services, data processing, marketing, and if you're a software engineer, then the sky's the limit. There's 50 different categories available for bid for jobs and interact with them. And the good thing about this is you can download and upload your stuff quickly, and you can talk in real time with video to the people who are giving you that job. We use 99 Designs for our graphic design at work, and it works very well. Our NBN for government to business, I'll skip over that, and talk about NBN for SMEs. So there's a whole lot of tools out there. There's one on display outside, Xero, the accounting tool, which lets you do your accounting in the cloud, but it also lets your accountant see it at the same time so he can add value to what you're doing. The whole world of accounting is again changing. Taxation is being simplified. Filling in forms can all be outsourced to India. The call centres are going there, some of the accounting is starting to go there. So what you need is value add. And these tools that let you share your business information, do predictions on sales and what's costing you money and what's working, let you do that. Another good telework example is in the film industry. I've worked with a company called Rising Sun Pictures that does special effects for things like Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. And they developed a tool called CineSync, which lets them share the video files and share interactively the special effects they're adding. So when they're working for a director, they can show them their special effects, explain it to them, and also see the body language of what the director likes. Does he like this new animation they've done, or this new special effect they've added? So the cloud, we've had a fair bit of talking about the cloud. I was going to talk about it, but I won't, because I think it's been done to death already. But the one thing to say is cloud is very important for disaster recovery. It's the easy way to do it. This is the Brisbane floods, and this is a much harder way to do disaster recovery, to get your mate with a tinny and drive back to where your office was and try and pull the computers out of the server. And you know, this is a real photo from the Brisbane floods. It's amazing. The cloud people tell me there's been a massive uptake in Brisbane of the use of cloud services since those floods. Cloud's very boring. You can build a data centre in 10 minutes, go online, fill in the form, suddenly you've got a data centre that can be any size you want. You can run your business in the cloud. Xero and the talks yesterday talked about how you can do certain things. We're working with a company called Cenef on its product called OneSME, which puts everything in the cloud. So it puts in the Xero package, it'll put in a customer relationship management package such as Salesforce, it'll put in a document management system, it'll put in your website control, project management system, all in the cloud, all through one browser interface. So all your employees need to do is log on to this website with a browser, enabled device, could be a tablet or an iPad, and they're sitting in front of them are tabs for all of those things. They charge $20 a month per employee for this service. It's a pretty simple way. You don't have any upfront costs, and as you add more employees, you just add another $20 a month to your costs. That's a pretty good system. So in the near future, you basically will be able to run your whole business out there in the cloud and get on with running your business, not running an IT shop. Apps for business, I think people have already talked about PBX in the cloud. Contact centres on demand. If you're running a competition, you might want to just have a contact centre for a day. Social media is big in the cloud. And I think elastic storage and computing is very important. And data centres, people don't realise this, there was a lot of issues early on with data centre sovereignty because they're all based in the US or Singapore or Ireland, seem to be a popular place. But now there's a lot of data centres opened up in Australia. Amazon, Hewlett-Packard, Orion, VM, Ninefold, Macquarie Telecom, Optus, Telstra all have local cloud computing facilities you can get. So they're all based in Australia, so that problem has gone away. There were some more examples of the sort of things you can get out there in the cloud, the CRM systems, analytical marketing surveys, anything you want to do, think of really, you can do in the cloud now. So I want to finish with this. My favourite quote from Arno Penzias, was a radio astronomer, so I can relate to him, being done a lot of radio astronomy. Sex, money, bandwidth and storage, only too much is ever enough. I think the NBN will solve 3 of those, and I'll let you work out which 3 it will solve yourselves. So on that note, I think my time is up.
Thanks, Terry. Your time wasn't necessarily that we could have listened to you all day, but probably the next speaker's bottle thought your time was up. He might. So just briefly, we'll go again with a quick question from Twitter, and then we'll go to the audience. But one of the questions that came in from Luke was, what's the single biggest thing you personally are looking forward to with the NBN?
What's the biggest thing? I think it's the freedom of choice that I'll have. And the fact that I can have those 4 separate pipes coming into my home, sorry, there's 4 separate services on the one pipe, and I can free to choose an ISP on that one, and maybe an ISP that does pay TV better than that one, but that one does better. So it's freedom of choice. I can just get anything I want from anyone.
That sounds great. Thanks, Terry. So questions from the audience. We've got our mic monitors there again. So any questions from the audience for Terry? Just down the middle here again. We'll have to get you, you're asking some good questions, we'll have to get you to sit near the edge so we can get you to the mic easier. We'll just run the mic in. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Percival. Very, very entertaining. Much appreciated. I just had a question regarding the current, I guess, ongoing switch to digital television and the opening up the analogue spectrum following that. Are there any possibilities or impacts from that? Can that be used as data, or are there technical reasons why that's not a possibility?
Yeah, the switch to digital TV is opening up a lot of spectrum, and it's being auctioned off as we speak. I think the auction started yesterday. The carriers are interested in it for 4G mobile, but the CSIRO, in fact, is doing some experiments. The next speaker could probably talk more about this than I can, on using part of that spectrum for delivering broadband to the home in rural areas again, because these towers are nice and high and they go a long way at that low frequency. But certainly that's an option to complement the LTE solution that the NBN Co is running out, and it may be for those people who are a little bit further away and would be currently on satellite, so that spectrum could be used for filling in those gaps.
Okay, thanks, Terry. Next question from the audience. Any further questions? Don't be shy, you don't have to ask them by Twitter. Right, great. Right, thanks, Terry.
Thanks,
right, well done. Big round of applause for Terry Percival. Sometimes referred to as the father of Wi-Fi. Didn't get a grin out of him. The next speaker you met yesterday, and we know that Terry used to work for CSIRO. The next speaker still does work for CSIRO, and I'm sure has some interesting views as well. But he was good enough to fill in yesterday when another speaker couldn't make it. And so I've gone through and done an introduction, but very briefly, Jeff is an electrical engineer, still works at CSIRO, but his talk today, I really like the concept of. He's going to talk about 2020, the year 2020, and he's picked that year for a reason, probably because it sounds quite nice. The term digital economy will be gone, will be tautology. Digital will just be an integral part of the economy, and I think that's exactly what a conference like this is all about, is making sure that we don't think of digital economy as something separate, we think of it as just integrated into our overall economy. So I'm looking forward to hearing Jeff Hayden speak. Thank you, Jeff.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I feel like walking around and shaking everybody's hand. It's a great room, but not full enough. Look, the things I wanted to talk about this afternoon were, I thought, rather than trying to add to what has already been an extraordinary day of visionary commentary around what is possible now and what is going to be possible in the future. I thought it might be more fun to really focus on a few of the things that CSIRO is actually doing in its ICT labs right now, a lot like Terry was just doing, but I've got a few little examples of things which I think are really interesting bandwidth drivers for the future, and I guess partly triggered by the fact that I think I'd probably really be a rich man and retired if I could have got $1 every time somebody asked me, so what's the next killer application? And I think that is something that people are still striving for, but I actually think it's rather a mistake now, because what we are actually building is a killer infrastructure so that we can have potentially hundreds, if not thousands, of fantastic business models. And that's what we should be striving for, and we all have opportunity embedded in that. I chose this image on the front page here. It's already a year or two old, so many of you might have already seen it, but believe it or not, it's not a map. It's a connection diagram of Facebook. So every friend connected to every one other's friend. That's what that connection diagram looked like about 18 months ago. And it's a very, very interesting thing to reflect on. If you look at where all of the lines go, you really start to see how friends are remarkably local, as well as national, as well as international. And you can see quite a lot of very interesting patterns if you study this in some detail. One of the things I like to notice is almost a complete absence of China. Facebook is blocked by the state in China, and so there are only about 25 to 30 million users inside China. And that is not even easy to see on a map like this, or this connection diagram. The other thing that is interesting, and you really can't see it in this resolution, I guess, but you can see where all the New Zealanders go when they come to Australia. They go to Sydney, Melbourne, some to Brisbane, very few to Canberra, and that's about the extent of it. So it's really interesting to see how connections emerge globally, and I think that this kind of spatial visualisation of things is becoming more and more and more important, and that visualisation of things starts to be a driver for, in fact, more and more bandwidth. So I went too quick. So the things I was going to try and address today, there's really just some cool stuff I want to show you, but what that needs is a little bit of an introduction about what we're doing and what we've done inside of CSIRO. And so I want to mention to you, at least in an introductory sense, what this new flagship is that we've recently launched. And this just puts it into some context. So the operation that I'm a part of, the Digital Productivity and Services National Research Flagship, was internally launched on the 1st of July last year and publicly with Senator Conroy's attendance towards the end of January this year. It is the 10th. There is soon to be an 11th biosecurity flagship established, but you can see the sorts of subjects up there are big nationally significant subjects. And the Digital Productivity and Services flagship is CSIRO and the government's response to the importance of the emerging digital economy. And it creates some really interesting challenges for us as an organisation.